Hi everyone and everyone out there in the vinyl community. This is Morten Aastad. Welcome to my channel. Today I am tackling a challenge set forth by Rob Walker and followed up by, for example, Richard's Vinyl Tap House and Doug over at Auditory Vinyl. And probably some others that I've seen either after I make this video or I have forgotten. Sorry about that. Rob made a video where he shows records A through Z. A little bit more about that at the end of the video. And he picked records where the album title starts with an A, B, C, D, and so forth, by bands operating or releasing records after 2000, the year 2000. So maybe I misunderstood something along the way, or I'm doing this correctly. I don't know. Did the bands have to have only recorded after the year 2000? Now I'm suddenly unsure. I should probably check that out, but I'll have a video out of it, and I've schlepped all these records out of my shelf over there. So it's going to be vinyl. I've chosen to not include any other formats, which did present a couple of problems that I've had to either cheat or actually I had to omit, which I think Rob also did, by the way. So I'll try not to talk too much about each record. We are, after all, talking about the entire alphabet. The entire alphabet plus minus something. The Anglophile alphabet, if you like. So let's get started with what I picked up. Now, you might be wondering about my background today. So I went to Denmark now because I had some things I needed to do. Some of you know what. And in a corner of a room that I mostly used to put stuff, I found this on the wall. Well, I was aware of it, but I hadn't remembered it. That's a Welsh flag that I bought when I was 17, and I was traveling on Britrail around the UK. That was sort of the UK equivalent to Interrail. You buy tickets for a set period of time, and you can jump on and off more or less as many trains as you like. And I was supposed to go to Cornwall, but me and my traveling companion, we couldn't find any free room at any youth hostels in Cornwall. So while we were sitting down in, I don't remember if we chose to do this while we were in Exeter or up near, was it near Bath, in a place called Slimbridge. We decided to go to Wales, so that was the first time I visited Wales, and I've been in love with Wales ever since, both through music and the country and the people itself. Bands like Manic Street Preachers, of course, Super Furry Animals, and much, much more, and friends that I made at film college, especially one of them who were and is still a Welsh-speaking person. Anyway, guys, let's see what we got here. We start off over there in England with one of those amazing 90s bands who willingly or unwillingly brought on maybe the Britpop movement. This is the latest album from Suede and Autofiction. Sorry, I've been rehearsing this, but it's still Autofiction. A pretty strong late career album, I must say. I really like this a lot. Because their post reunion albums, if you like, have been strong and well made and everything, but maybe a little quite mellow all of the time. But this I really liked, and I really recommend this album. Next, we move over Kjølen, as we say here in Norway. That's over the mountains into Sweden, my other country. As some of you know, I am a Norwegian citizen, but I have also Danish and not least Swedish ancestry. My mother was actually from Sweden, or well, Skåne. Inside Scandinavian jokes, sorry. And we go to Robyn. Robyn, of course, a wonderful Swedish artist, very much her own boss, and after an early career where she, I suppose, were the wunderkind of record labels and producers and songwriters. She very much took control herself, and back in 2010 she actually released 3 records. Well, technically, I guess you would say 2 EPs, and then she decided that the third EP was going to be a full album containing parts of number 1 and 2, but also other songs. So she released Body Talk 1 and then Body Talk 2, and then she did release Body Talk 3 as sort of a streaming thing, I think, but the record was a full album. And then some years later, in 2019, we got this, let's call it the Body Talk number 3 as a vinyl release. And this was a limited edition white vinyl featuring unreleased acoustic versions and so forth. And it's a great album. And you got Fembot, Don't Fucking Tell Me What to Do, Dancehall Queen, Stars Forever, Dancing on My Own. Just wonderful. And also the wonderful in Swedish language. So I could have used this in the Duolingo thread that's going out there. What is it? Jag vet en dejlig rosa as well. So great album, and I highly recommend it if you just want one record from Robyn and want something Swedish. Of course, she mainly sings in English. Moving on to the letter C, we pick up an album by one of my all-time favorite bands, an 80s and 90s band. This is the last release, as far as we can tell. It came out in 2015, 2013, time flies. And this is Prefab Sprout with Crimson/Red. I think this is a wonderful album. This was a bit of a whale for me. Paid a pretty penny for this 3 or 4 months ago. It has not been reissued on vinyl, and this was almost completion time. I am missing the previous album on vinyl. I'm also missing one other album by Prefab Sprout, but it has never been released on vinyl, so that's the way that goes. But I highly recommend this wonderful album. I had to, put away a couple of albums that started with the letter C, and it was hard, but I really wanted Prefab Sprout to pop up in this video. With the letter D, we turn to another 80s hero of mine, maybe my favorite singer-songwriter, pop rock artist of all time, Neil Finn. Neil, of course, we know him from taking place in his brother's band Split Enz in New Zealand, and then moving on to create Crowded House. Obviously, he's had a solo career. He makes projects both as a solo artist and collaborations with other artists, not least on the Seven Worlds Collide project, and with his son Liam Finn, and with Paul Kelly, for example, and he shows up on other artists' albums as well as, singing many famous Australian artists' songs in his live sets, Hunters and Collectors, Throw Your Arms Around Me, and so forth. Is this his third or fourth solo album? Kind of hard to say something sometimes with Neil, because he's so prolific or works around so many things. But this is Dizzy Heights, and this was released back in 2013, I think it was. Yeah, highly recommend this solo album. I think this is his first solo album you can own on vinyl, because his first two solo albums have yet to be released on vinyl. So if you're listening, anyone in the Neil Finn camp, anyway, guys, we got some Antipodian music, we've gotten some Swedish, we've gotten English, and so forth. So I'm hopeful we can get to a lot of different countries. And we're heading to the United States, and well, I suppose technically the third solo album by a fellow Norwegian. Well, this is 2023, wasn't it? 2022. Wow. I was really floored by how good this album was, and how did he have time? Because Pearl Jam had just released an album and released a new album not too long after, last year, and so this is Eddie Vedder with Earthling. I just really recommend this. This is just so youthful and powerful and energetic and amazing, and his voice, and I don't listen to it enough. There are so many records, and every time I think of it, I go, oh, I need to listen to this, and then sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But highly recommended. I should, of course, know the producer's name now. Was it Brendan something, wasn't it? Anyway, it seems that he injected something, and there's collaborations here and everything. It's an amazing album. So on for the letter E and Earthling, we move over to the UK. Is it Southampton? This band was a group. There was a bunch of bands that arrived in the UK, first in the beginning of the 2000s, in the middle of the 2000s, and then again we had another bunch of bands in early 2010s. There was like a guitar band revival, and you had bands like the Stands, you had the Dogs Die in Hot Cars. What else? Sort of in the adjacent to bands like Kaiser Chiefs, Franz Ferdinand, earlier like Keane and so forth. We got this wonderful band who unfortunately are no longer with us because the singer and frontman passed away not that many years ago. It's Delays with Faded Seaside Glamour, and I have their, is it 4 studio albums on CD? When this was got a reprint a couple of years ago, I was actually had the alternative version to this with a different cover in my was about to buy it, but then I immediately got a pre-buyer's remorse because I wanted this original cover, and just a wonderful album. It's such a great band that I wish had much bigger impact, and obviously I wish they were still around, but that's how it goes, unfortunately. From the letter F and a band that is no longer with us, we go to the letter G, with a band that has not really ever been with us because it doesn't exist, or does it exist? We go to, is it 2001? I kind of wanted to show my huge deluxe edition of this, but I think I showed it not that long ago. So we'll go with a regular vinyl. This is Gorillaz and their debut album. As some of you know, I love cartoons. I wanted to be a cartoonist. This is right up my wheelhouse. And of course, the maker of this made this, and I love Blur, so Yeah, this was such an amazing album for me when it came out, and I've loved them ever since. Even Humans, which I guess still is my least favorite. I think sometimes I even like that iPad album he made a little more. But yeah, Gorillaz, you know them, you love them, you should listen to them. When I mentioned the Delays earlier, I also mentioned this band. I absolutely adore them. I've seen them live a few times. I saw them live last year here in Oslo. Even though I wasn't, I have some health issues, which have, knock on wood, been getting better. But yeah, a concert for me these days. And also, I'm not a whippersnapper, but I was surprised then when I saw them live the first time, and then I was surprised again now, because some of these, let's call them kids, early 20s, in between talking about their personal lives over beers, shouting so loud I could hardly hear the music, also sang along with this band, who started up before they were born, and that's kind of cool, I guess. It's of course Keen and Hopes and Fears, and I was able to show you this on vinyl because I very recently got this 20th anniversary version. If you don't like them, then obviously this doesn't mean anything to you, but this is a band that has been a very big part of my music listening life for the past, well, it's got to be, it's got to be 21 years now, I guess. Now, you can see up there, that's the Norwegian flag, and that's not a Norwegian, that is a cartoon character that was very beloved here in Norway when I was a kid. It's a Czech character, and I don't have any Czech music, so there you go. Time to show something Norwegian, isn't it? It's album time with Todd Terje. Todd Terje, electronic music, dance, new dance, whatever they call this type of music. It's really cool. It's really sometimes smooth and groovy with its electronic sound. You see how he presents himself. So if you have a chance and you want to listen to something Norwegian, then intro, it's album time. Leisure Suit Preben, Norwegian name. Preben goes to Acapulco. Svensk sås, Swedish sauce. Strandbar, Strandbar. Sorry, I'm switching to Swedish. DeLorean Dynamite. Johnny and Mary featuring Brian Ferry. Yes. Alfonso Muskedunder, Swing Star, Oh Joy, and Inspector Norse. Check it out. Okay, first failure. Yeah. I could not find any vinyl albums that I own that starts with the letter J made after the year 2000, although I did find a record that was pressed after the year 2000. I think this album originally came out in 1997. It's a group of Norwegian artists who perform sort of filmatic, groovy, funky music. If you know Corduroy, that might ring a bell. But they also sometimes do a complete turnaround and perform music that is, sitting in your car with a breeze through your hair in an open-top sports car or muscle car, driving along the Pacific Highway in California type music, 1970s. This is the first, but they perform that as Euroboys, but they also perform as Kåre and the Cavemen, and this is their album Jet Age. So, this is all in English, if you were worried about that. A splendid album. I absolutely want you to check it out. This is what this video is about. Making friends, strangers, our vinyl community compadres check out music they may not have listened to. So if you want to check out some Norwegian, here's another Norwegian with Kåre and the Cavemen in Jet Age. The letter K. Well, I had a few choices there. And then I thought, no, I want to show something that I know Ben Rankins don't like these guys, but I love Australia, and I love Australian music and culture, and I love Aboriginal culture, and Dreamtime stories. And funny thing is, I grabbed this Doctor Who shirt because I thought I had found my Australian shirt with Aboriginal artwork on it because it had this red color. Turns out it wasn't. It was, but this Doctor Who shirt, by the way, was bought when the Doctor Who experience was in Cardiff, in Wales. So yet another Welsh connection there. But anyway, guys, this is King Stingray. King Stingray, kind of a surfer rock, kind of modern surfer rock kind of music, performed by band members who are of oh god, what was the tribe name? Sorry, I can't remember. Van Diemen Land, Northern Territories in Australia. They are of Aboriginal background and European background. They are nephews and second cousins or nephews, maybe even some sons of members of Yothu Yindi. Here they are. And they just released a second album, which I seem to be forced to order from Australia. There are lots of Australian albums I want now. They cost either more than twice than what they cost down there, and are more expensive even with shipping and customs. So, you know how Australia is so close to my heart, even though I got my heart broken there. Yeah, this is such a fun album. I love this. Yeah. Hey, Wanaka. Sweet Arnhem Land, yeah. I love this stuff, guys. So hope you do a little discovering with that. We had reached the letter K because they were both King Stingray, and the album is King Stingray. So we move on to the letter L. This is Lonerism by Tame Impala. Speaking of Australia, I did not really know them, and then I think I bought this. It was on sale, and I really, really loved it. And I have now 3 of their 4 studio albums. If you go back to Rob Walker's video, I think he shows the one that I don't have. I simply haven't bought it because I keep wanting to, but I keep seeing the deluxe edition of this standing next to it at Big Dipper, and it is really expensive, and I keep putting it off, and yeah, I regret it. But this is right down my wheelhouse, sort of a dreamy electronic and everything else. Can't really. This is taking too long, guys. So Tame Impala, love that band. So here we go. Speaking of Wales, of course, I could not do one of these videos without showing at least one of my 2 favorite bands, and this is Super Furry Animals. I already put away my Grafris album, and I already put away some Manic Street Preachers stuff because I keep showing this. But with the letter M, I really want to show you Mung. So Mung means mane in Welsh, and this was I suppose after their first albums they did have a bit of a downturn, and maybe they weren't that happy about it. They followed this up with something really amazing, but this in itself is very amazing. The highest charting Welsh album in US history. This is 100% sung in Welsh, and this deluxe edition, A, B, C, D, E, F. I wish I'd love to unpack it and everything, but if you remove this, there's a skull underneath, which I think is on the CD, because I may have removed something. But you know, I love super furry animals and whales, so do yourself a service and check out Mung by Super Furry Animals. For the letter N, we go to a band that had a sudden big success in the, let's say, call it the post Britpop era. I know they released album around the time Radiohead released OK Computer. Everything was on the up, and their second album had just come out, I think, and maybe we hadn't the same traction. And then the singer, some photographs showed up, and we had an early version of cancellation culture. I'm talking about Kula Shaker. Kula Shaker broke up, and was it Crispin Mills? He released a couple of albums that I actually listened to a couple of days ago, under the moniker Jeeves. And then some time passed, and Kula Shaker came back together. I think I have one or two of those return albums. But a couple of years ago, is this 2023 or 2024? Yeah, this is 2024. They released this banger. So this is Natural Magic. It is really good. If you even liked Kula Shaker a little bit in the 90s and you haven't heard them since, check this out. It is such a cool, joy-affirming, happy, bombastic, boisterous album. You know, I love these guys, and I need to get more of these and I need to get the old records on vinyl. I know I need to get everything, but here you go, Kula Shaker. Bye. Have I been watching that prog guy? The letter O, as in O, inverted world. This is the wonderful The Shins. Of course, I discovered the Shins, as very many other people did, in Garden State with Zach Braff, wasn't it? And Queen Amidala. Yeah. Beautiful band, beautiful album. Is this my only vinyl by them? No. No. Yeah. Not a gatefold, but it has this funny hole here. So for some reason you're supposed to do, and then it's yellow. Oh, three holes. I love this band. Although band is a stretch, I mean it's basically one guy. This is the 20th anniversary with the songs New Slang and Caring is Creepy. And absolute banger of an album. You should check it out if you've forgotten who the Shins is. Purple is a color, but it's also a title of an album by Baroness. This was the first album I bought by Baroness, but it was not my first time hearing them, because just a few days earlier I heard them warming up for, was it Mastodon here in Oslo? And this is Baroness. American band from, well, like Mastodon, aren't they also from Georgia? I love their music. I love their style and their sound. Band with a troubled history. You can read more about that. Anyway, this is Purple. I think this remains my favorite, although I do have all their albums. Funny thing with them and Mastodon, they were the first bands that I exclusively bought on vinyl, never having owned on CD or any other format, after I got my turntable again in 2014. Yeah. And it's time to do a little cheating again. I do not have any albums starting with the letter Q. Well, I do, but they are either from before 2000 or on that format. But I wanted to show one thing because it was pressed a couple of years ago. So here you go. It's a bit of a cheat, like I said, but this is Queens of the Stone Age. This is the album cover that they sort of redid. And the reason for that is that this person has her let's just be old-fashioned and call them tits out. So therefore the Obi strip. For the letter R, we return to Norway again, and also Germany, because Erlend Øye, who also, by the way, releases solo albums and is a member of Kings of Convenience, he has also released 2 albums as the band, Norwegian-German band, The Whitest Boy Alive, and this is their album Rules. Sort of lo-fi, electronic, both meeting in the middle there. I was very happy to buy this from a seller here in Oslo online. Was it last summer? The other album has been released twice, I think, once in Germany and once in Norway on vinyl. In the numbers of like 500 each time. So if you want that one, I think you have to start looking on Discogs. If it shows up, it usually shows up around the €300 mark or something like that. So we'll see if that ever happens. But really great album, or I wouldn't have shown it to you. The next album, we go to Bonnie, Scotland, and I want to show you an album by another huge Scottish favorite of mine. No, not Belle and Sebastian, Teenage Fan Club. This album hasn't been unwrapped yet because I bought it in the new record store I found in Aalborg a couple of weeks ago, Licorice Pizza, and it was on offer, so kind of a no-brainer. This is one of my favorites of theirs, which is nice because it's one of their latter albums, and it's also one of the coolest album covers. I love this architecture and everything. This is Teenage Fan Club with Shadows. And sometimes I don't need to believe in anything, and the wonderful baby Lee is here. And I think this is a wonderful album. Highly recommend this, and of course highly recommend Teenage Fan Club. Anything Scottish except deep fried Mars bars, baby. For the letter T, we head on down to France, La Belle France, with Terra Incognita, if I remember correctly, and this is Gojira. This is their debut album, isn't it? When I first heard Gojira, that was Les Enfants Terribles or whatever it was. I nearly chose them for the letter L, but Tame Impala won over. But when I first heard that album, it floored me. And again, I just like I did with Mastodon and Baroness, I kept up and only bought their records on vinyl, and I totally love them, and I love all the attention they got during the opening of the Paris Olympics last year. That was kind of cool. So probably their hardest, maybe, but I would recommend you start with this one. Over in Castleton in Derbyshire, some years ago, 2 brothers formed a band, and they later got a third member, and they moved up to Sheffield, or down to Sheffield. This band is a trio. They have released 3 albums, and I just stumbled across this initially on CD, by the way, in the record store Spinner in Cardiff. Still arguably the oldest record shop in the world. And I bought this album by Drenge. This is Undertow, so the letter U. Drenge, or Drenge, or Dreng, or whatever they want to call themselves, they said that this was a word that they sort of made up, which they felt represented the sound they made when they played live. Of course, later on, or maybe immediately after, they also realized that this word in Danish is drenge, and drenge means hey, boys. Yeah, so, or in Norwegian it would be gutta. So drenge or gurane. Well, you could actually say gurane in Danish as well. I just really like this. I have all their albums on vinyl now, and I'm not checking in on them to see what they're doing. But it's yeah, is it a little bit like Silverchair meets something British that I can't remember right now? But I recommend them that you check out the Drenge or Drang, whatever they want. I don't know what they call themselves. Now for the letter V, we head on over back to Sweden and an artist who, born in 1981, she sings only in Swedish, far as I know. She's released 6 studio albums. I heard one of these songs being played over the credits of, I don't know, Ukänt Arving, you know, one of those programs where they try to find people who should inherit money left over by lonely people. And I really liked her. I bought 2 of her studio albums. I'm taking a little bit of a break, but because it seems that and some artists do this. Who else was I thinking about? Where they have a style and they sing, and then for some reason they invite a guest artist who is a rapper, you know, hip hop. And if you know Morten, you know that apart from maybe a couple of things like, for example, Beastie Boys, I have a more or less pure disdain, I won't use the other word, for rap music and hip hop. I just can't stand it. And even Keen has done this, where there's a wonderful album going on and the music sounds great, and then for some effing reason, some person that I haven't got a clue who is, and who as a person sends out a vibe that is entirely different. And to me, rap music is largely hostile. Yeah, I know those wonderful guys. I did like the hippie-ish, Afric-centric De La Soul. I did like them. So if those guys would show up, that would be great. But yeah, on each of these albums, Veronica Maggio has a rapper showing up. But other than that, I really, really like her music. Vatten och bröd means water and bread. Yeah, this was her debut. As you can see, it's in Swedish. And Ingenting kvar, Havanna mamma, Dumpa mig, Dump me. Vi har, featuring LKM. Oh, fuck no. Sorry. Kan inte säga nej. Kvällens sista cigarett, månskensregn. Moonshine rain. Oh, that's nice. Nöjd. Happy. Pleased. Content. Gå nu. And Ballad om vintern. So yeah, this is really nice. Apart from that rap, this is vinyl, so you know it's not as easy to skip as on CD. But yeah, I'm still really keen on getting the rest of her albums because I think she's really, really good. Love her voice, and I guess her attitude. We will always love you, Australia. Who thought that these guys were ever going to make another album, and then a third album quite soon after that, and that I would love them as much? This, of course, is the Avalanches. And if you remember that debut album. When did it come out? Was it 99 or 2000? I bought that CD in Australia and listened to it a lot. And then, of course, nothing really happened for many years. And then we got their second album, which I don't think I was aware of for a while. And then I was. And then when I went to buy that wanted to buy that album, I ended up buying it in Gothenburg, Sweden again. And this was right next to it. This is their third album. And, again, I haven't listened to it enough, but I just really like them. I like their music and what they do and their vibes. So for W, we have the Avalanches. The letter X. Sorry, can't help you there. I don't own any album where the album titles starts with X. I don't even have Xanadu. I do have the album X by In Excess, but of course, first of all, it's from before 2000, and that was the only reason. I can't show you any albums starting with the letter X because I don't have any apart from that. Ydyd Olaf, or The Last Day, is Welsh, so we're on Wales again, and this is the debut solo album by Gwenno Saunders. Gwenno Saunders is an artist from Wales, but she's also half Cornish. So her next album was actually, apart from one song, 100% in Cornish. Her debut album is in Welsh. Is she also performing with Grafferis here, I think? Won lots of prizes, not least, of course, at home in Wales, for culture prizes, language prizes, and so on and so forth. I don't remember when I heard her. I just remember that I really, really liked it. And I love the Welsh language in music. And again, I'm such a Welsh fanboy. Highly recommended. She's released 3 solo albums. And before that, she was in a band that I currently don't remember the name of. For the letter Z, I have to be a copycat, I'm afraid, and show My Morning Jacket with the letter Z. Wonderful album. Not the first My Morning Jacket album I got, and certainly not the last, because I bought their latest album on Saturday. It hasn't been unwrapped. I haven't listened to it yet, that's right, but this is a wonderful album. I think the artwork kind of mirrors how wonderful I think this album and this band is. So that's the letter Z, My Morning Jacket. So that was the alphabet. However, in Scandinavian terms and some other languages, I suppose, as well, it isn't, because we do have the letters A, and we have the letter Ö, and we have the letter O. The letter O, of course, is the modern way of spelling the word O, which used to be spelled AA, hence my surname. I don't have any albums starting with the letter A, and I don't have any albums starting with the letter O. However, I do have an album that starts with the letter Ö, as in Øst for Vesterled. And Øst for Vesterled is the final album by the Danish artist, that we all love in Scandinavia, at least Danes and Norwegians. I'm not entirely sure about the Swedes' attitude towards him or Danish music, to be honest, sometimes. But just before he passed away, Kim Larsen, of the band he played with for the last years of his career was Tjukken. Kim Larsen and Tjukken released Øst for Vesterled. And he was a very sick man already at this time. There is one other album that was released where he recorded at home with some help of his longtime producer, I think, and his son. But since this album starts with the letter Ö, I put in this as a Scandinavian bonus for you guys. And there he is. Kim, of course, the quintessential Copenhagen guy. In Scandinavia, at least he's known for his time with the Danish rock gods, Gasoline, who tried to have some success in America. He did on his own as a solo artist as well. But, their attitude and their handle on the language didn't translate that well, maybe to English, or the record label also pretty much dropped the ball on them in the States, I remember. But we have a word in Denmark, in Norway, I suppose Sweden too, folkekær. Everyone loves this person, and like, for example, Lillebjørn Nielsen in Norway. Kim Larsen was definitely a folkekær artist, and I miss him, and I miss Denmark, and I'm going to miss Denmark far more. I won't go into that. This video is starting to push an hour, although with some editing I'm sure I can get it down quite a bit. But I thought it was nice for you guys to put in a little Scandinavian in this video for you, and end with a letter that you don't have in your alphabet. I want to thank Rob for doing this. I always love you guys out there in the vinyl community. You are splendid people, and I love when you do these challenges and threads. I have tried to make a couple of threads, my Welsh vinyl thread and a couple of others. What was it? The vinyl community made me do it, or was it the film, or was it the music? What came first? Threads. Didn't really go anywhere, although Peter was a dear, and I think I did try one of them. But from fairly greyish, quiet Oslo on a Tuesday here in Norway, I hope you enjoyed these records. If you did, please click like. That helps my channel. If you want to subscribe, and by the way, thank you to my latest subscribers. Welcome on board. That makes me happy. And I hope to see you soon in another video. And please, comments.